Welcome to First Take exclusively for YouTube. I'm Christine Williamson here from Molly. We got Stephen A. and we've got stars showing out on the basketball court. So let's get to it. Paige Bueckers and UConn are back in the Final Four after a special showing from the junior guard to knock out super freshman Juju Watkins and USC. Bueckers missed all of last season with a torn ACL and reminded everyone in the nation on the nation's stage why she is one of the best in the game with a 28-10-6 performance. Now, UConn began its run to its 23rd Final Four with a first-round win over Jackson State. They took down Syracuse in the second round, Duke in the Sweet 16, and Juju and Watkins in USC last night. Here's Paige on her journey back to this point.
Today was one of the most rewarding feelings I've ever felt in my life. Just seeing where I was a year ago, today, just starting to do individual workouts, starting to feel the basketball again, get the ball in my hands again and play, and now I'm here. And with my teammates and my coaching staff, I'm going to the Final Four. So it's been a very rewarding journey, and I'm super, super grateful for it all.
So now Bueckers and the Huskies have a meeting with Caitlin Clark on Friday in Cleveland. Stephen A., I know you're excited about that. What would it mean if Paige was able to pull off the upset against Iowa and Clark?
I think that, really, I'll say the same thing that I said about Caitlin Clark going into the Elite Eight game against LSU. It's really not about wins or losses at this particular point. It's about how they perform in the moment, because we already know that Paige Bueckers is great. We know that because her first year on the scene, she was the National Player of the Year. She was absolutely sensational as a freshman, outplaying everybody in her path. Even when she went up against Caitlin Clark, they won by 20, 92-72 in that game. And so we got to take that into consideration and recognize the fact that Paige Bueckers is big time. The thing that made everybody sort of get a bit reticent about her was her injuries. Right. And now that you see her on the court going up against Juju Watkins and this USC team that was considered deeper and more physical, and she goes out there and she drops 28-10 and leads them to victory, knowing that their bench in UConn was depleted and what have you, it just speaks to her level of competitive fervor, her greatness, and how everybody needs to be on notice that here she comes. So you go into Friday's game, and you're going up against the National Player of the Year, the star of women's basketball on pro or the collegiate level, as big as Asia Wilson and Ionescu and others are in the WNBA. There is no greater women's figure in the sport of basketball than Caitlin Clark at this moment in time. And if you're Paige Bueckers and you go out there and you shine brightly, outperforming Caitlin Clark, dare I say, that's going to do wonders for her brand, her imagery, and it's going to be a reminder as to the greatness we were hinted towards before she had that nasty injury that put her down last season.
Yeah, certainly trying to put everyone on notice there. Let's talk about a team that hoped to make it to the Final Four. Despite an amazing performance from Angel Reese, the Tigers were sent home after an iconic performance from Caitlin Clark. Even after an early ankle injury, Reese held her own, putting up 17 and grabbing 20 boards before fouling out with just over a minute left in the game. It's been a tumultuous year for Reese, who has received a ton of attention and criticism, both fair and foul. Here's her teammate, Flau J. Johnson, on her strength and Angel's response.
Everybody can have their opinion on Angel Reese, but y'all don't know her. Like, y'all don't know Angel Reese. I know Angel Reese. I know the real Angel Reese. And the person I see every day is a strong person. Is a caring, loving person, bro. The crown she wears is heavy, bro.
I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I've stood strong every single time. All this has happened since I won the national championship, and I said the other day, I haven't had peace since then. And it sucks, but I still wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything, and I would still sit here and say, like, I'm unapologetically me. I'm going to always leave that mark and be who I am.
Yeah, every single time I see that, I get a little teary-eyed. Stephen A., what is your reaction to Angel's comments?
There's several ways to look at this. On one hand, let's get the obvious out of the way. We've got a few, not a majority, not most, but certainly, at the very least, a few sorry, no good racist bastards in this country who looked at her, beat Caitlin Clark in Iowa last year, and the manner in which she did it, the bravado that she put on display, what they deemed to be classless behavior on her part, where she was taunting Caitlin Clark, ignoring the fact that Caitlin Clark had taunted a few people en route to getting to the national championship game last year. And they blame Angel Reese for that. And you have a lot of people who believe she should, quote unquote, stay in her place and shouldn't be acting that way or whatever, that never said anything when Caitlin Clark did it, which is why race comes into play.
Right.
And when she alludes to that, she's absolutely on point, because why else would you give her death threats?
Right.
Why else would you aim the level of vitriol in her direction that you did? None of us are blind here. We understand what world we're living in, and that's what Angel Reese is dealing with. So that's when she's talking about the struggles on a personal level, and that is to be respected. It is to be embraced as accurate, because she is telling the truth. It is to highlight how bad and how negative and how disgusting our society in this day and age still can be. And it's a damn shame she's had to deal with that. That's one side. But here's the other side. Angel Reese didn't need to win a championship to know what kind of world we're living in.
True.
And what level of vitriol those actions that she took would attract. Her teammates speaking out, I would say to Ms. Johnson respectfully, I would ask that don't fall into the trap so many of the modern day athletes lean on when you're talking about the media. When the Los Angeles Times reporter, who ultimately issued an apology, had put out the article calling y'all dirty debutantes, which was wrong, uncalled for, and obviously had its own racial connotations as well in the eyes of a lot of people, that was that one person.
Right.
That wasn't the media.
Yeah.
And see, when you do that, you have to be careful. And one of the things that I try to impart upon folks, particularly from the Black community, from my community, is that we want to be careful when we want to castigate an entire entity.
Yeah.
Because that means people then turn around and get to do it to us. So somebody acts up, it's all the Black folk. Somebody's late, somebody's truculent, somebody's a bit belligerent, somebody's violent, somebody's this or that. Oh, that's all of them. No, we don't want that done to us. Don't do that to other people. That reporter is one who did that. There's plenty of folks in the media that were rooting for LSU. There's plenty of folks in the media that wanted them to win, wanted to see them going up against Dawn Staley in South Carolina again.
Right.
There's plenty of folks in the media that have profound respect for LSU and what they accomplished in winning a national championship last year and being in the Elite Eight this year. It's not everybody. And so you want to be careful about that. And when you talk about Angel Reese, you're absolutely right. We don't know her. Most people don't. We don't wear her same uniform. We don't share her locker room with her. We're not in the same dorms. We're not in the same classrooms. You don't have that, which is why you have to be careful as to how you project yourself to the masses, because you're subjecting yourself to their interpretation of you because they don't know you.
True. Yeah.
So therefore, you have two choices to make. Either care enough not to give them that ammunition, even though they might use it anyway,
Right.
or don't care at all.
Right.
And that way you're not but so much affected by the inevitable vitriol that's going to come in your direction. You have to know that as you're moving forward in life, because when y'all are as great as y'all have proven to be, you're going to have people who are jealous and envious and hateful and all of these other things because they're not you.
Right.
And they can't do what you do. And that is what you have to understand, and that is what you have to remember as you're moving forward as young ladies, because you have so much to offer the world. The world is your oyster, and you can go for it. But you have to understand there's a level of toughness that you're going to have along the way, because even when you do nothing wrong, there's going to be people who wish they were you and are envious of the position that you're in. And that doesn't matter who you are. It happens to me. It happens to you. It happens to Molly. It happens to all the contributors on this show. It happens to people in the athletic world and beyond. It's the way the world is. It's unfortunate, but when you're grown-ups, you know how to deal with it better than most.
Yeah.
Remember that about yourself.
Yeah, that's very true. Definitely a lesson to learn. And heavy is the head that wears the crown. Thanks for watching First Take exclusively for YouTube. Be sure to tune in to First Take weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and check back here for more exclusive YouTube content. We'll see you tomorrow.